8 hours.
It's like that thing where it's like
do you have something to say?
it's like teacher is telling us about how her kid passed away or whatever.
But
it's like
there's like
my
a side
friend looking at me.
conversation.
It's like the teacher telling us about
Guys.
how her son died in a car wreck while my buddy's looking at me from across the classroom, just like, "Ugh."
One time on the mission.
Oh, that was a good one.
Dude.
That was a good one.
One time on the
The side
mission, there was this member that was just like telling us his life story and like all the tragedies
I'll
he's
get
gone through.
John's microphone down.
Okay.
Poor John.
You ever tried Celsius?
And
Headphones.
he
Celsius is
and
good.
like I look around him to my companion just like and he busts up laughing in the middle of and I felt bad, but it's the right thing to do.
It's gonna be
That's
this is
all.
gonna be an amendum to the end of the travel stories one. Okay,
Okay, yeah,
all right,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
starting fresh now. All right, hello everyone, welcome to the Gabs with Gab. I'm here with everyone. Introduce yourself. We'll go down the line, starting
Oh,
with
shoot.
Landon.
Hello.
I
My
wonder
name
what his
is
name is.
Landon because my name has been named
That's crazy.
already.
We'll
Down
save
the
our
line.
we'll save our guest for last. Actually,
Our
since he was
guest.
on the last one.
Okay, this is John.
Like a sitcom.
Yeah,
That's my name.
we call you. We'll even. I don't remember what button it
Introducing
was.
our
Oh, no.
celebrity
Press one of them.
guest.
Okay, that's something odd. Okay.
Okay.
Today we have a very special guest. Everyone, welcome in Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He said he'd be last.
Oh my
Yeah.
Just
god.
Kyle. It's just Kyle.
I mean, I already did my thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kyle, introduce yourself for us.
Yeah, so I'm Kyle. I punch drywall, dream monsters.
Sorry. You said you punched drywall?
Yeah, typical Kyle activity.
I thought for a second I thought you said you munched it.
You munched drywall.
Munched drywall.
Munch drywall.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's a textural experience.
He puts it between like two pieces of bread and just.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
We're gonna get. Oh, he's taking a drink. Hold your microphone right up to it.
Get us a nice slurp. Well, that's quiet. You gotta-
Anyways, today's topic is things that go bump in the night. So,
Forsooth.
unfortunately, no one did their homework.
No.
I
I gave the homework of everyone pick a cryptid they want to talk about or urban legend.
yes.
Maybe not ghost stories. We're
Yeah.
saving ghost stories for a later one.
Mhm.
I
But-
mean, mine's not necessarily any cryptids, according to John. So
I
yeah,
mean,
technically not.
I'll
Yeah.
even count creepy
we're,
pasta.
we're just
you know?
going, mythical creatures and stuff. Anyway,
If you really want to talk about how your favorite thing is Slender Man,
oh, dude,
I
Slender Man.
I've recently I've recently gotten more into SCPs.
SCPs are good.
Ah, there you go.
I will
So
allow
good.
SCPs.
There's some really
The
cool stuff.
SCPs would fit.
John's
Like, really
definitely gonna win
creative
as
So
well.
I guess I will open the floor here with
All
right.
mine. I was going to talk about something completely different, but then
You didn't. Do
my
your
wife
homework?
and I were
Mhm.
watching like Ghost Adventures.
Oh,
And I know I said no ghost stories, but this isn't a ghost story. They had like an hour and a half long episode about skinwalkers.
oh, there you go.
And it was the freakiest
Mhm.
thing I've ever
Gavin
watched.
did my homework for me.
Right. Were you going to do Skinwalkers?
I was going to do Skinwalkers and Wendigo because
okay.
I've messed with a companion of mine on my mission because he lived near the res.
Well,
As you should.
But-
well,
I mean,
John
should
already
mess with
doxed
them.
us
It's
last
not-
episode, so I can say this. We live in an
Right.
area where
Yeah, I think it
many
was just
people
fine to talk about.
I
that.
many
wasn't the one that
people
doxed
believe
us.
it was Landon that doxed us.
Yeah.
Was it me?
Many people,
Mhm.
someone doxed
Ah.
us.
Yeah, I think we did say Utah. Yeah.
Yes.
We live in an area where many people believe in skinwalkers.
yeah.
I mean, Kyle can vouch. We had a roommate that was all for that. He's making a face. I just gave him
Oh.
like a flashback.
A little PTSD or something. What's going on there?
I don't know what's worse. Our roommate pretending that a tree is a skinwalker or Zach Bagans faking a skinwalker.
Faking a skinwalker. Well, it was a very interesting episode because they went to it was some random town in Utah. I can't remember the name of the town off the top of my head.
Like Blanding, maybe that's near the res.
No, it was like it was an old I'll just describe it as like farming town.
Okay,
Like
that's very
Okay.
specific
well, like
for
they
Utah.
had. Well, it's like they had like a couple of like, the famous Western outlaws kind of hide out there. Like,
Oh,
Are
okay.
you talking like Skinwalker Ranch?
no. It's like
Okay.
slightly more south of Skinwalker Ranch. It's interesting you bring up Skinwalker Ranch though, because the episode opens up with them interviewing like one of the families that owned like one of the stores there. And they're like, "Yo, bro, I'm seeing things." It's basically how it went, right? And they're like, "What?" And all three of them there's 4 people in this family, but 3 were the 3 like men of the family. So like the dad and like 2 brothers participated most times. The wife didn't really want anything to do with it. I don't blame her. But like, yeah, so we visited Skinwalker Ranch as a joke and started making fun of it, like the whole Skinwalker concept.
This is the
family
it's
that
the family.
owns
Okay.
land on this
Right.
in this town.
Yeah.
But then they said shortly after visiting Skinwalker Ranch, they started seeing like ominous black figures with glowing yellow eyes, and they're like 8 feet tall.
Mhm.
Right. But the thing that interested me most in the episode was it seems that I'm hearing like the fan still, I think.
Yeah, we do have a swamp cooler going.
It's
but
not not picking it up on the mics.
Swamp.
So I know
Okay.
Where's
like
the swamp?
out back.
Yeah.
I know that like the headphones are a lot more sensitive too.
Okay.
Like the sensitivity on the headphones is crazy. You're being watched. Anyways, so they started describing these figures, right? And the episode goes in a little more on the like story of skinwalkers, right?
Mhm.
And they had a couple of like representatives from like local like Native American tribes, right?
Ooh.
My cat just hopped up on the couch. Native American tribes kind of come and talk about it. They're like, yeah, here's what they are. I mean, most people get the legend wrong because most of the time people are like, oh, it's a witch pretending
Right.
to be, an animal, right?
Yeah.
It's like a shape-shifting witch, right?
As witches do.
As witches do, right?
We've all
Kyle's
seen
plays
it.
Witcher 101. He's seen it.
He's seen them witches.
You've seen the witches. But the main, I guess the main thing about the legend in the tribes is they're entities summoned by a shaman.
And if you want to be like a
So, like,
to hunt someone, basically, right?
Like the equivalent of like a demon.
yeah.
yeah,
That's
Or like
basically what.
like
that's
a-
how
Or
like
like a gin.
that's how the episode
Jinn,
approached it.
demon, a lot of things can
Yeah.
be summoned.
So they're
Depending upon
interviewing this family, and all 3, everyone in the family describes the same thing, seeing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're like, yeah, there's a local cave nearby that we found.
Oh,
something.
as opposed to like a local cave that's far away.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So they went up into this cave, right?
well,
and
John,
they're
a local cave
well,
far away is not a local cave.
It's
At that
not.
point.
It's not. It's just a
why
cave.
I was
That's just
saying
a cave.
It's just a
It's
normal
imagine-
cave.
Okay.
The
The
local
local
caves
cave.
in your area.
Local hot local caves in your
Local
area.
caves in your area.
Click now. So they go up to this cave, right? Because family's like, we found something weird at the mouth of it, right? So they go up to this cave with I believe it's someone from the Ute tribe
All right.
Okay.
to kind of do some sort of
Seance or what?
ceremony. I don't want to say ritual because that probably is going to be offensive.
Yeah, I mean,
But they did
yeah,
some sort of ceremony to
safest,
help
yeah.
protect them,
Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In their culture, right?
I mean,
And they enter the mouth of the cave and they find the remains of it's animal bones and stuff like that or something
Yeah.
like that.
Gotcha.
And they're like, someone did a ritual here, right? And straight up, the Ute guy was like, yo, because there was necklaces in the stuff where with the ritual stuff.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, the necklaces don't look Native American. And the Ute representative was straight up like, yo, someone could have summoned these to hunt these people. Because I guess you can.
Oh, so
There's
do
I guess there's in certain rituals to summon them. There's a bounty system. you can like offer something and it'll
Okay,
go
yeah.
after. you
Oh,
know,
okay.
Yeah, that's a
whatever it is.
I was
classic-
thinking
that's
like
a classic thing in lots of legends.
And their
There's a
equipment
price
starts
system,
acting
yeah.
up. They're like, "This is weird, right?" I
Yeah.
mean, you know, no skinwalkers to be recorded, but there's some interesting things that happened in the episode. Like they went out to I guess described as a canyon is the best visual
Yeah.
thing, like where it's like they're drawing like, you know, the stone walls, right?
Okay.
And they had someone from another tribe. I can't remember what tribe off the top of my head. I think it might have been Navajo, but
hmm
he was like, yeah, he's like, not all of these drawings are left by, you know, people. He's like, he said spirits could leave the drawings behind. And they find a drawing he didn't recognize of like a black bird.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in the episode, when they're investigating like the house of the people that like called him, out of nowhere, a black bird feather appeared. And they're just like, ooh, that's freaky. But anyways, they're trying to lure in like skinwalkers with like
Yeah, and this
coyote
is-
noises,
This
stuff
is
like
from
that.
the Ghost Adventure.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a very well put together episode. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, they didn't record an actual skinwalker.
No. Yeah.
Right.
You know, as you do, because
And of
you
course,
know,
it can always be dramatization.
it's a lot of it could have been dramatized. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
But I mean, very well researched.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was my thing. Like I was like, I'll talk a little bit about this, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you know, back in the day when Kyle and I with a few other people would be like, yeah, we're gonna do our own ghost adventures, right? And we would go up into the forest. Or like someone would always be like, bro, what if that deer we passed is a skinwalker?
Yeah.
Pretty sure all we had was a camera. That's all.
All we had was a camera. No skinwalkers
before
recording.
You got your EMF. Your
I mean,
little
there
cat
was that.
toys, and-
There's one time I went up with someone and there's just a deer that just stared at us like for like 5 to 10
Oh,
minutes.
guys,
And
I
we're
have a
like,
story.
do
I'm
that.
done with that. I'm like, dude, that's a witch.
Those are weird.
I have a
because most
story that's a
deer
little disappointing, but it's similar to that.
is about a deer.
It's
Is
not
it about a deer? Is it about
I'll tell you guys what happens.
About a deer
Skinwalkers.
coming soon to video cassette.
So, for like a youth, like a church youth activity, something like that, right? When I was like a teenager, right? We went on a hike, a very popular hike inside the area, right? And it's fairly lengthy, right? But not crazy. We take longer than we expected heading out.
Come on, continue, John. We gotta fill up the airtime.
Sorry, got distracted. We take longer than we expect heading out. And so by the time we get to the end of the hike, which is a waterfall, right?
Yeah.
The sun has set. And we're like, oh crap, we're going to be hiking back in the dark, right? Which I actually love night hikes because they're kind of spooky. And we were like hiking along. This was back before it was common for everybody to have a phone, right? It was like fairly common, but not like
Yeah, because that was in your teens.
Sure.
so-
You
Right,
weren't
yeah.
allowed a phone back in that
I
day.
didn't have a phone. Yeah.
That,
Mostly because my parents are cheap.
yeah, that was
And I
12,
respect that.
12, right?
Wow, you
Um,
described that the most like mean way you could, and then you're like, "Don't worry, though, I respect
It's
that
okay, I
decision."
respect that. Honestly, don't buy your kids a phone until they're anyway.
Ready?
Yeah.
Until the kids got every screw tightened. Because
Don't buy your kids a phone, or else you'll get Kyle
Or-
on Wizard 101.
this isn't even
my-
like a religious thing. This is just like
My spells don't
No.
fizzle in real
make
life.
sure the
Oh my
kid's
gosh.
like
Just don't-
smart.
Just don't make an iPad baby.
Yeah.
Dude, iPad babies are the worst.
Well,
Oh
that'd
my
be
gosh.
concerning if you made a baby with an iPad.
Well, hey, AI
Yeah,
is
please
coming
don't
a long
do that.
way. AI is coming
That's
a
the
long
internet's
way.
a-
Oh my god.
the internet's a magical place.
That's probably an
ChatGPT.
SCP out there.
Probably.
They got artificial wombs in the
Yep.
making too. So I mean,
Anyway, I'm gonna keep going with my story.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the sun sets, right?
The
we start
sun
heading back.
sets.
Also, you remember how it used to be like you just got a app for your phone that was a flashlight? It wasn't
Yeah.
guaranteed
Where it
that
just
there'd
made
always
the
be a
screen
flashlight.
white.
Yeah, all the
it was just
flash.
a white screen.
There was
yeah.
no flashlight
Yeah.
app built into phones back in the
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So like only a few of us have flashlights. And we're
Well,
all
the flip
crowded
phones
around.
did
the-
have them.
Yeah, flip phones.
But,
Flip
like,
phones were base.
As soon as I went to the nice flat touchscreen, they didn't have
Well,
enough
the
space for
actual
that.
phone people who made the
Oh,
phone
no,
didn't realize you
no,
could just
'cause-
light up the LED flash
Yeah.
on it as a flashlight. They're
Yeah.
like, no, that's stupid.
Oh my gosh.
And everyone made an app for it, and they're like, whoa, it's genius.
Oh my
People made the
gosh.
app, and it was just your screen is now
We got a
white.
phone
Yeah.
last night. There we go. I found it.
That was a great story. So only a few of us have the flashlights. We're all crowded around them, and we're like making our way slowly down the trail, right? And like there's like a small halo of light just directly in front of us, enough to see the trail, but to the left and right of us, complete darkness, right? And as we're going along, shuffling down the path, we hear something ahead of us. We're like, oh my gosh. We are afraid, but we keep going, right? And whatever it is, it's moving towards us. And soon we see just ahead of us on the trail are some eyes,
Ooh.
Right. and they are
These
very
eyes see
weirdly
y'all.
shaped,
Yeah.
Ooh.
right? It's not a cat's eyes, right? They're
It's a
not
dog's eyes.
like that. They're not circles, right? It's just really wonky. Oh my gosh, right? And it steps
but
into
what
the
shape were
light.
they if they were in circles, though?
I don't actually remember.
Oh, okay. I thought.
You'll see.
Okay.
It steps into the light and it's a goat
Dude.
on a leash.
On a leash.
Wait.
Behind them is an old couple walking their goat at night
Dude,
without
that's
a
wild.
flashlight.
Is it like a full
I
size
would be-
goat, or are we talking like one of the little?
It
like,
was a pet
dwarf
goat.
goats.
Wait,
like
no,
a little
dude,
dwarf goat, or
I'd
like a
be
full
more
size.
It was a
sketched out by
full-size
the
goat, but not
random
like a
old
mounted
couple
goat. Right.
walking a goat in the
It was-
middle of
yes.
nowhere.
So like
That's like we summon the devil. We worship
Was
the
it-
devil.
what are these
Was it a
guys do?
ram or a ewe?
gosh.
It's a Dodge Ram.
Okay.
It was geez. I don't remember.
I guess it's a billy goat, not
It
ram.
was-
Kyle's
it's been a
our
while.
resident
Sheep.
expert in all things spooky.
Well,
what do you make of the weird goat lady?
without doxing us more.
It's not that weird, but it's kinda
Like,
weird.
would we all know this trail?
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it?
probably. Is it a
Probably.
trail I've gone up?
I'm trying to think of the correlation of somebody walking their goat. That's just
It's a pretty common trail.
Yeah.
It's one of the most popular hikes in the area.
Well, by saying that, we can't even say the name now, John.
Oh, because I said that it's in the area.
Yeah.
Screw it. Just say it.
Yeah, whatever.
It's Stewart Falls.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
can bleep it out or
how
whatever.
the missionaries are going to come to our doors.
The missionaries are gonna come.
They're gonna come to your
After,
door.
dude, after they hear the first episode, after what some of y'all said on that.
What do you mean? You're the baby pusher man.
Yeah.
That's true.
Last episode, I was like, we need a device that automatically pushes in the soft spot of children.
Yeah.
For airplanes, right? For
Airplanes.
Yeah.
We can expand to
Spirit
other
Airlines.
after that.
Spirit
but-
Airlines.
yeah.
Virgin Airlines.
Delta Airlines
Delta
would definitely
Airlines.
have it.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a great story.
Thank
That's
you.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But what's crazy to me, right? Is
Yeah.
how similar certain like urban legends are.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, like-
absolutely. Sorry.
Well, John was mentioning this like after we were packing up the last one because I think I had mentioned I'd talk about the Wendigo and I didn't do any like research,
Yes.
but it was just like all these different cultures, like the general idea of the Wendigo, even though it's not like a full.
I just want to
Oh,
point out
yeah,
real
Kyle's
quick that
drinking
Kyle's
a goat.
drinking. I think
Yeah,
that's his
thanks
goat
to our
fuel.
sponsor, Go Fuel.
Goat fuel.
It doesn't
Our
taste-
sponsor.
Sponsor. Thank you so
Yeah.
Not
much.
yet.
I can now pay.
We're gonna get a
It's,
sponsor.
it's made with mushrooms,
Sure.
and that's probably why people see
Yo.
spooky things. Honestly,
Really? Is it really made with mushrooms?
We're probably gonna get the
Cordyceps.
Manscaped sponsorship first.
Whoa, really?
Kyle's
Wow.
excited.
It
Yeah.
is.
Um,
Interesting.
I'll make sure to send you a razor.
It does not clip your balls.
the goat fuel does
The
it.
goat fuel does it. At
the goat
least.
fuel doesn't.
And there goes any chance of us being sponsored by Manscaped.
No,
Thanks.
by goat fuel because we said it doesn't clip your balls.
Yeah. Well, it's like you start to read a couple of like these urban legends. I can't think of any
Mhm.
on the top of my head, but it's
Yeah.
like you're like, wait, this just sounds like the other one. Like straight up, like okay. I know I said I'd mentioned we could include creepypasta.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's all right.
The Slender Man stuff is so eerily similar to like
Oh.
a million other urban legends. It's not
Okay.
even funny. Like,
Yeah.
lives in the forest. Okay, what's an urban
Abnormally tall.
legend that lives
Yeah.
in the forest? I don't know. You know, you got
Pretty
maybe
much anything.
Bigfoot. You know,
Right.
it's just
Well, it's
Well, even like it's a pretty good tie to just the Fae in general with how Slenderman works.
that's a really good point.
that's true.
Yeah, it is very
Because
much
a lot
like
of
the Fae.
there's a few Fae creatures that have no face, live in the
Yeah.
woods, and
Yes.
prey upon children, and that's generally
It's-
what Slender does.
It's so crazy to me how fairies are portrayed now in media
Oh, yeah.
because they're actually such good horror content.
Well, I think that's now because the media, if they're going to use anything, it's usually in shows like Supernatural or whatnot.
Go
and
into
they'll-
what fairies actually like.
Oh gosh. Okay, go into what fairies really are. So
Yeah.
fairies more accurate to the lore are, and here's the
More
thing. Here's
accurate
the here's the
fairies.
crazy thing is that people.
stories actually come into play because now we're not talking about the cryptids anymore. Get wrecked, John.
Yeah, this is an incredible.
I'm relevant.
But this is still like urban legend,
Yeah.
It's still a
right.
religion, yeah.
kind of. No,
Well,
because
we're
it's not
just
really.
doing the comparison right now. Anyways,
Yeah.
John, get into
Well,
it.
I mean, it's a mystical creature.
I mean,
It's
Let's
a
be
mystical
honest.
creature.
what happens is what we call mythical creatures now were the urban legends of that time.
Yeah, but it's not really.
But
urban
they were
'cause
also
didn't really have
widely
cities.
accepted, and
Yeah.
It's anyway. this
the
is
agrarian
so-
agrarian
legends,
yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about fairies, I guess.
Yeah.
So you guys know the whole thing with like genies
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you can get this genie to give you something, but there's always going to be a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's or like the monkey paw,
It's like the
monkey's paw.
yeah.
Well,
right?
that's
That's kind of a common thing with the fae is that you can make interactions with them and they have to follow the rules that you set out to the T, right? But they
Kyle?
Kyle's just scrolling through
No,
his-
I'm
some nice stuff.
I'm good. I'm just reading some Bigfoot. His,
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Hey.
Bigfoot is Cain theories.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
um,
the Bigfoot is Cain
but
theory.
I
Yeah,
just, I
that's
ran into a Reddit comment that is a little bit
Okay.
a little bit off-putting on that.
Oh
Yeah.
No,
no.
it's terrible, isn't it?
After a bit of Googling, it appears that the church takes no official position on this, but it is
Oh, there
generally
is a-
believed
yeah.
that Cain is big, black, and hairy.
That's
So-
off-putting.
yeah. There's
Oh, and every sponsorship
Oh,
just flew
there's-
out the window.
No, actually, talking about hairy, Manscaped helps with that.
Manscaped. It's
well, yeah. I mean,
Gosh.
there's a lot of fringe theories and a lot of different things, but
think
that
it's
is a thing
silly.
that I've heard of too, where there's been some people in the church
yeah.
that have not made a doctrine statement or whatnot, but have said maybe Bigfoot is Cain or whatnot. And there's like a full book. I don't remember what the book is, but it recounts the tale of some guy going through, I think.
Oh, I've heard this.
Where is he going? Anyways, it was some dude in the church going to a conference or meeting with the early church
Yeah.
folk. And there was this big hairy man that suddenly is like walking astride his fast moving carriage.
Yeah.
And the man apparently calls himself Cain, says he's cursed to roam the earth for forever because that was
Right. But
biblically what God did. But
what's crazy is that inside the Bible, it doesn't even say that he was cursed to roam the earth
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
Right. People just added that in.
Anyways,
as in like they anyway.
yeah. Anyways, the interpretation was, oh, this guy must be Cain, and
Yeah.
it's a very, very summarized and thing of the story, but essentially that's what it is. If I find the book, if I can remember what it was, I'll
Mhm.
mention it in the next.
Man, we really flew off the rails.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
No, because John was talking about the
yeah.
Fae, and
Yeah.
then he went to. We mentioned Bigfoot as Cain.
Yeah. A
stuff.
really good portrayal of the Fae, I think, if you can put up with the terrible fake accent, is the second season of Palimpsest. Look it up.
Is that a podcast, John?
It is a podcast.
Okay.
It's really good. And it shows a lot of different types of Fae, right? Anyway, I don't want to go into too much more about it because I would just be exposing my ignorance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Almost canceled.
It's interesting that there are,
Oh.
if we're talking about like commonalities across different narratives, across different cultures for these legends, right?
Right.
It's interesting that there is this idea of creatures that seek to harm humanity but are bound by laws,
yeah.
right? And so that would be like vampires can only enter the house if they're given permission.
That's why you think they let no one in.
Yeah.
Except you three. Which one of you is a vampire?
Probably me.
Probably
Yeah.
Kyle. We haven't seen him for a
Oh,
not
because
kidding.
Suck.
Like,
Wait,
suck.
I watched Twilight last night. So.
Stop.
I don't think a
Good.
self-respecting
I have
vampire would
garlic
watch
bread in the
Twilight.
pantry. I
I'm
will
fine.
throw it at someone. Okay. Yeah. No, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Landon's the one that was in Romania. So
Yeah. Landon, you were in Romania. You know?
Yeah.
I was in Romania. As many know, that's where Vlad Tepes, or actually Tepes, also known as Dracula, came from. The actual name Dracula is a play on words in Romanian using the word dracu, which is somewhat a bad word if you're referring to someone, but dracu means devil.
Oh, okay.
And so Dracula just means like, devil child, devil kin.
child.
Oh, okay.
So if they
And
want to insult someone.
Basically, they called him that because of his treatment of the people and his enemies, because he is Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
And so he would put people up on a big wooden stake, and you should go through the anus, and it would then impale them through the stomach. Anyways, really bad guy.
Oh boy.
Really, really bad guy.
Oh, he's a bad guy. No, he
No.
sounds
Oh.
pleasant.
He's
I would
probably
invite him
just
in.
misunderstood.
Yeah, no,
Misunderstood.
definitely
It's
misunderstood
just
for
an art
sure.
project.
It's
But,
just an art
I mean,
project.
along the same lines of like the universalness, because there is Greek legend with vampire like creatures as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere, but in general, like the typical vampire we're thinking of is based on what Dracula's treatment was for people, and then they ascribed demonic qualities to him over time as well.
That's like you've mentioned something very good point about how a bunch of cultures just have very similar urban legends to each other too, right?
Yes.
And I saw a great point someone made that's just like creepypasta, or just the urban legends of the current generation.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, when you think about it that way, they're still cringy, but
No, they're definitely cringy. Yeah,
But I love it.
but I love it.
but it still leaves you looking over your shoulder when you go out to throw
oh
the
my
trash.
gosh, no, dude. Okay, so Smile Dog, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know the
Oh,
Smile
yeah.
Dog one,
Yeah.
right?
Well, explain it for the viewers.
So
And by that, I mean listeners.
if the viewers, someone's watching, looking at the
Yeah.
time pass about it, they're like, whoa, dude. Listen, if we
Whoa,
ever,
the
I mean, I
six
think,
turned into a
Spotify,
7.
I think Spotify turns it has a video podcast option, but
Oh, okay.
anyways, so the whole Smile Dog urban legend, right? I
Mhm.
think it's or creepypasta, right? It's like a bit of chain. It's almost like chainmail, right? Where
Oh.
if I'm remembering the story right, this guy's trying to look into this image that's going around.
Yeah, we're not talking about armor, folks. We're talking about
Yeah.
chain
I
emails.
was thinking.
Hey, send this to
chainmail
the next
armor, please.
person.
About an image of it's like a cursed image of a husky, like a dog with
Yeah.
a smile, right?
Yeah.
Smiling, and it's just
Go Google
the
it.
chainmail
real
is
quick,
you get sent this piece of chainmail, just the picture of the dog, and it says spread the word, right? And if you don't spread the word, then he haunts you.
Yeah,
right?
so
Oh, okay,
send
okay.
to 10 friends, or
Send
you'll
to 10
get visited by
send
Smile
to 10
Dog
friends,
or whatever.
or you'll get tickled in the
Yeah.
night. I don't know.
Smile Dog will show up
Smile
at your
Dog.
bed and use his dog
Attention.
hands to tickle you.
Fortnite gamers.
Yeah,
Anyways,
pretty much like
so
that.
but the image attached to it is of a husky with a human smile photoshopped on there, right?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that's a freaky image, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there's been a resurgence of creepypasta related stuff, right? With different, YouTube videos, right?
Yeah.
There's like one called Chainmail Chasers, which is like probably one of the better retellings of Smile Dog, right? And of course, I
It's
have
not
a
quite
husky,
though.
Oh yeah.
right? And most of my dogs like spending time outside, right? What did you pull up?
These people, the Smile Dog.
Oh yeah, that's from the Chainmail Chasers video.
Just looks like my ex waking up.
Anyways, so I have a husky, right? My dogs stay outside most of the time because they like to be outside.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll just like turn on the porch light for them, right? And I almost had a heart attack the other day with the way my husky was just looking inside because it almost like seemed like a perfect recreation of the photo. It's like,
I mean, Huskies generally have that stupid grin.
Oh, he has mine has the dumbest smile you've ever looked at.
Like, Huskies are the one dog that I could say actually can smile. I mean, dogs generally, their
Right.
face shape just seems smiley, but
Smiley. Yeah.
no,
That
Huskies
pause
definitely.
was so we could all look at the same
Yeah,
cat.
the cat was
My
just
cat's
looking
just
in and it was like,
walking around.
hello.
Well, it's like, yeah, so that was my heart attack of the
Right.
other day because I finished watching like the whole Chainmail Chasers
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Time out. Is he alive?
No, I think he's fine. He's
he's
at the very least. I think he's
Sure.
praising Jesus
my
right
God.
now.
You just
He's got
might-
his hand up.
My cat just lays like that.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Interesting.
Like, let me.
Yeah, the kitten is ragdolled. So
Yeah.
Hey, John, if you reach into the couch cushion to your right, I think a laser pointer in.
No.
If you reach into
way.
Let
the
me try
couch
to- let me
cushion,
try to
you'll
summon
actually
him.
find the electrical shocker.
you'll find that the couch is
Yeah.
actually a mimic and will eat your hand.
Anyways, Kyle, you
Oh my
haven't
God.
had any input so far. Have you had any, encounters, cryptids, or
Encounters of the third or
any
fifth
story?
kind.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Look at the laser.
Yeah, he's out.
We're trying to get the cat to see the
Trying to see
laser,
my
but
cat's
We're
alive.
trying to
Yeah,
get
I
the
think it's
kitten
dead.
who's
I think
asleep.
it's dead.
actually
Let me
dead.
actually go look. We're gonna if this episode cuts out short,
No.
it's because my freaking-
We'll have a new ghost story to add.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no. While this is happening, Kyle, do you want to tell us a story?
Oh,
Maybe.
Oh,
He just did the kitten slump.
Oh my gosh.
You woke me up.
You can go sit on the top right now. You're not gonna
just plops down, dies.
get dead body.
A little angry face.
Looks so indignant.
Oh yeah, he just got woke up from the snooze of his life, and now he's always doing a chain sneeze now.
Oh no.
Okay, Kyle, tell us a story.
I don't really have any cryptid stories, honestly. I
But you-
mostly just have ghost stories, but the only one that I would say, I don't know, was a little bit weird. That could be a cryptid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Riverdale, Colorado.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Your random trips to Colorado.
So backstory to
He'll
that.
randomly be like, "Hey, I'm in Colorado," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah, I do that once in a while.
He'll go down there with his his Dodge event. What Dodge Dart?
Dodge
Dodge Dart,
Dart
license
that
plate.
has a bad
Yes.
has a bad oil sensor in it or whatever it is.
Going 100 miles on I-80.
with bald tires,
Unregistered.
unregistered.
It's pretty good. Haven't been pulled over yet. I got pulled over
The real
one
cryptid
time.
is how Kyle's car has
Yeah.
That is true.
ate it.
Riverdale, Colorado. Supposedly it's one of the most haunted roads in America.
Oh.
Just with how many deaths there have been.
Oh.
Oh.
So gone there so I've been there twice. The first time we went there, we had one of those ghost, you see all the ghost hunters using the EMF detectors.
Okay.
We found a spot that was getting some EMF readings. And
Yeah.
this is a park, but there are no power lines. There are no, it's a nature park. There's nothing there. So, we stop in this area and we're getting these readings. putting it on the ground, checking everywhere on the ground because maybe there's like power lines underground or something. And then so we start asking questions, and we trying to think this through. It's been so long. But we start asking questions, and it's almost like it's
test.
we're
Just so you know, we're
what the-
grading you on this.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Start asking questions, and it's almost like it's responding with the EMFs.
Okay.
Now, this area of the road was where the forest is. It's actually called the Gates of Hell.
Oh,
That's pleasant.
nice.
Yeah. So, we start hearing sounds kind of in the foresty area,
Yeah.
and the EMF detector has been going off occasionally, and like whenever we do ask questions, it would respond in a sense of lighting up the EMF detector to the middle range, whatever, I don't know the technical terms of those devices.
Okay.
So then I started to hear some almost like a growl or just something in this area that our questions were kind of leading towards. And so finally we were like, okay, if you want us to go over there, if that's you trying to get us to go over there, can you make this light up red? And it lit up red. And I was like, there's no way. Doesn't make sense because it hadn't lit up red. Red is like full EMF detection.
Yeah.
Had not lit up red for the whole like 30 minutes we were asking questions.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
like high activity.
Yeah, and we were the only people there, and we had tested the area too to make sure there was no like false readings.
Mm-hmm. No
And then I
power
was like,
lines or whatnot.
Maybe we got a text or something and it picked up our phone signal.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, just to make sure, if that is really you trying to get us to go over there by making those sounds, can you make it a solid red? And it made it a solid red. So, and then we packed up.
Yeah, that's a good call.
But I've never heard ghost stories like that. And I've always wondered what it could have been.
That is
Right.
weird.
It was interesting.
Because it just, and then going back, I went back when we had more equipment,
Yeah.
same type of readings. We were able to replicate that exact spot with the cat balls that don't turn on.
Yes, the cat
Yeah.
balls.
The cat balls and the EMF. We got that to go off.
That's
again.
crazy.
So
Do you know?
Faz IRL.
Yeah.
Do you know like what frequency the RF sensors are most sensitive to?
no, just your
It'd be
basic.
interesting to like, I don't know, because I have all the physics knowledge now.
I think essentially they're like
See,
pretty much
exactly.
Nerd.
anything.
Yeah.
Because the main like theory, from what I understand, is like ghosts and other stuff are supposed to interfere with electromagnetic frequency
Right.
and produce their own.
Yeah.
Kyle would probably know more on the theory of that, or
Yeah,
It's-
the theory is that they can manipulate those
Yeah.
fields, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, considering now we've only been gone for 40 minutes and we got to
40
pad out
minutes.
time for this.
I mean,
episode.
Well, I got okay.
yeah,
I want to talk more about
the universal stuff. Or
yeah.
I was saying,
Yeah,
if we
There's
if
some
we're really
interesting
desperate,
They
I
make
have a
some
whole list
Good
of,
movies.
I have a whole list of
good movies.
Yeah, Universal.
cryptids from each
Oh,
state.
gosh.
oh, hey John. So it looks like most EMF readers are like 10 megahertz to 8 gigahertz.
Well, that's
That's
faster
the
than my
frequencies that-
CPU.
Like, and they
Okay.
Those are the frequencies it goes off of.
they pick up pretty. They're pretty sensitive too for
Yeah.
being like
Okay.
$20 devices.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to
You
like
guys from Walmart.
if you're going to Pleasant Grove Cemetery, you're picking up the power lines.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's like a thing you have to
Guys,
check for is power lines.
You
for your
can get
readings.
one of those like long iridescent light bulbs. You know, is that what they're called? I don't know. You know, the long
yeah,
bulbs,
Talking about the
Thinking.
tubes.
the tubes.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a better
like
way of describing it.
incandescent.
Incandescent, bro.
Incandescent. Because
I don't know. these
iridescence
things.
is a.
Oh, did I say
usually-
iridescent?
I think you said iridescent.
That's embarrassing.
Or something.
I
Some
know
like.
physics,
That's
guys.
embarrassing.
Anyways, if you
Or
grab
hybrid.
one of those from the end and you point it at a power line, it lights up.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Really?
So that's
Yeah.
the incandescent.
Now I'm sad I
Yeah.
don't have
Really?
any of those lights in this. house.
Absolutely.
Dude.
It depends
Or
on. You got to make sure that
phosphorescent.
it's
Could
a,
be
it's a power
phosphorescent.
line, not like a communication
We're
line.
gonna Home
right?
Depot after this.
Right, straight up. Real
Bro,
quick,
because they'd be down.
I have to share this one, right?
Okay.
So I looked up a list of cryptids by each state, right?
Yeah.
And I have
Okay.
to mention this one because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Florida has a cryptid called the skunk ape.
Oh yeah, the skunk
Can you,
ape.
imagine,
Yeah.
if you will,
Okay.
Bigfoot, but
True.
he smells terrible.
Well, isn't generally Bigfoot is described as smelly though?
Well, yeah,
But he's
you know,
not
he's
like
not.
a-
He's not Bigfoot. It's,
Yeah.
it's like
It's the skunk
the
ape.
best. I mean, it still walks on 2 feet and looks similar to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
but it's not. It's a really bad smelling. I like the implication of Bigfoot, but smells terrible because that implies Bigfoot takes care of himself.
Well,
Oh, I see.
I like
Probably just
Yeah.
gonna like Love's truck stop or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, he walks
Shower.
into a nearby Love's truck stop to take a shower.
I like how people keep on like changing how the Jersey Devil looks, but it
Oh, yeah.
usually is like some chimera
Oh.
form of like it's got the wings. It generally has hooves, but everything else is like up to the illustrator.
You know,
Yeah.
part of me is just kind of relieved I don't live in like the middle of the woods somewhere.
No, you
Because I
just
feel
live
like
in the
I'd be
middle of
more
the desert.
prone to being like, oh my gosh, there's some weird monster in my
I
backyard.
definitely want to live in the
Well-
middle of the woods.
Well, that's
somewhere.
that's just like a primal human state. It's just like
Dude, I'll
the
hear
woods
something in the
in the
backyard
dark,
and I'll
there's
still
something
like,
in
I'm
there.
like, there's something.
Like here.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, my freaking cats, right?
Yeah.
Go ballistic at
Yeah.
3 a.m., right? And I'm like, someone just broke in, you know, blah, 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 right? And there's a loud enough bang that I genuinely thought something
Oh
broke
my
in,
gosh.
right? So, you know, my wife wakes me up, right?
yeah.
She's like, did you hear that? And I'm like, yeah, I heard that, right? She's like, go check it out. I'm like, okay. So there I am at 3 a.m, right?
Yeah.
With like my shotgun in case someone broke in.
Yeah.
Like I walk upstairs, turn into the room that I like heard the bang would have come from.
Yeah.
And my 3 stupid cats are just staring at me and they somehow managed to knock down like a whole freaking chair or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Wow.
I'm like, what are you guys doing?
You know, one probably tried to get on like the thin side of the chair.
Yeah, that's
tried to
exactly
perch
what
it.
my
probably
gosh.
happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's one of the thing of like living in kind of a pretty big city is just you don't really have
Oh yeah. It's,
the cryptid thing to worry about.
Yeah, you just got
Yeah.
crackheads on the
we
corner of
just
the
got
street.
Yeah.
we just have the guy that walks around with the plastic bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful. He might suffocate you when you're walking at night with a
Stop.
plastic bag.
No,
Plastic
dude,
bag
back
man.
in high school, he would sleep in the alleyway. I would walk like to get to.
oh
the
yeah.
school.
Because there was
You
always
know,
those
he's still,
That guy.
he's still alive, by the way.
Bro,
Oh, is he still
what?
camping out there?
He doesn't camp out there. I see him over
Okay,
by
okay.
like the baseball fields,
Oh
by
my
Yeah.
god.
the police station. Um,
Oh man.
Yeah, they know that you live by a police station.
Oh,
I
Oh
personally-
no! Oh no!
I personally don't live by the police station.
Yeah.
My address is
If you really want to, send Kyle fan mail at here's his actual address, 355 North Street.
355 up my butt street.
Please don't send mail to
Don't
that
send mail
address.
to that address.
yeah.
That would hurt.
It would be kind of funny if you did though.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess we're fortunate enough to not really experience things that go bump in the night.
No, I mean,
We don't
we
really
ha- we
have,
have
like,
that
boogeymen
city
stories.
It makes me so
Wow.
sad.
yeah, we
I mean,
actually-
okay. Let me ask you this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get any sort of weird parent like stories from your parents about how if you're not in bed past a certain time, this
Oh.
thing's gonna come and eat your toes or something?
I
Because
there was
that's what most I feel like.
Not
legends
quite.
Like,
there
I mean,
was
span off
something
of.
that was like if you do, my parents told me if you don't clean up your toys, then I don't remember what name they used for it. The something. I don't really.
It's just some
gonna
like
eat 'em all.
monster is gonna get you.
Yeah, it's
The
gonna
boogie
eat
monster.
all your
The
toys,
Boogie Monster.
and they would just
The
like
toy maker.
take our toys and put them in a bag and hide them away
Yeah,
for a
like-
little bit.
it's never like a
Yeah.
cautionary tale now. Like
Yeah.
No.
I thought
nothing
kids don't
like
get
this
that much
monster will
anymore.
get you if you don't do this.
Let me tell you about a hilarious cautionary tale that I heard from listening from another podcast. Once I say the legend, people can go, "Oh, it's from that one, right?"
Okay.
You know, there's a ghost. I can't remember from what region. I don't know how to describe this in a family-friendly manner because it's that bizarre, right?
Okay.
It's called the Hantu Tetek.
Okay,
It-
so
roughly
it's a Hantu.
It's
Yeah.
the nipple ghost. Is
Oh.
I'll just describe it as that. Oh,
Okay.
This is very off topic.
oh
but
no! What did you send me now? Oh, Kyle just passed me. Well, tell me here. Wow, dude, the friendship ended in Wizard 101.
I'm gonna Google this.
Anyways,
Should I
don't
Google this?
Google it.
Okay.
You're probably gonna get a weird picture, right? But
Yeah.
the way this ghost is described is it's a ghost that will
Kyle's
haunt-
such a
basi-
good info.
will basically go after like disobedient children.
Yeah.
Right.
wait,
And
sorry, we're still on the nipple ghost.
You're still on
right?
the
Yeah,
nipple
this is
ghost,
the nipple
yeah.
ghost.
And we're
This-
involving children
yes,
now?
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
'Cause children
Chris
are afraid of
Hansen,
nipples.
right?
Well, our
Chris Hansen's
sponsorship's
over
gone
there.
now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris Hansen's over there.
He's got the chair ready.
Raising eyebrow, right? But basically, it's described as if you are disobedient, the nipple ghost will come and suffocate you with its,
Wow.
Wow.
Dude,
but it's not.
That's like
it's not,
some grim fairy
now,
tale.
some people are
type
probably
stuff.
listening to
Well,
this
the
like.
Grim Fairy Tale was just the Europe localization of
Well,
Yeah.
some
everything
people
else.
are probably listening. It's like, whoa, dude, that sounds amazing. No, it is very.
You know, yeah, there's people out there that are
That's
like,
true, that's
hey,
right.
nipple
It is a
ghost.
it is described as a very ghastly ghost. It's like an
Yeah.
older woman, and like they start. We'll just say, without saying
Yeah.
the word, the
Somebody
features of
is
the
so
ghost
excited about it.
start from the back, not the front chest
Really?
area. Yeah, so they wrap around her back. And it's bizarre. I'm like, who the freak tells a child
I
this?
feel like
right?
I'd just start laughing if I saw that.
if you don't put your toys away,
Gosh.
the nipple ghost will come and
Wow.
suffocate you, and it's
Yeah.
badonkers.
It's interesting.
What- where
What
is this
Kyle
from?
just said.
I think it's some
Well,
from
it's,
Asia.
it's
somewhere.
definitely
Oh,
somewhere wherever
okay.
the Hantu comes from because that's the type of ghost.
Look,
think
I
it
will
was an
find the
Asiatic
best picture
ghost.
I can real quick.
Okay.
But that's an
I'll stand
interesting
by
thing
it.
Kyle just said because even though we didn't have like these scary like stories as kids, growing up we were given the choice to actively seek it out. And so people
To
like
seek out the
Kyle
scary
or
stories.
us, where we're like actively like seeking out those stories and whatnot. And like we have so much media that some of it's done real well, and
Yeah.
it just gets us to the point where we're
Every-
like dead inside, so we're
Every
numb
image
to
is
those
horrible. I can't
to
find
those
a kid
images. Like we,
this is probably the most safe for work image I can find.
Gotcha.
I believe it is actually classified as a jinn.
That's-
a gin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really is what it sounds
It's
like.
from Malaysia, I believe, from what
Malaysia.
I'm reading here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is
makes
going,
sense.
what is
That's
going
so
on in
weird.
Malaysia?
That's so
Apparently
weird.
nipple monsters.
Nipple monster.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another.
Oh my gosh. Speaking
Alright,
of cautionary
anyways, we're
tales.
talking about ghosts all
well,
of a
maybe I
sudden,
shouldn't
but-
talk about that.
What, John? What is it? Come on.
It's a little off topic. How old were you guys when you realized that Robin Hood was about rape?
What? The
Robin-
trading app?
All right.
Robin Hood.
All right.
The story is about rape.
Wait. This is.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Let's start from the beginning.
This is
Little
taking a
girl
turn.
wearing a red hood
Oh,
is symbolic of virginity.
are you talking about?
They're talking
no,
about-
are you talking about
Little
Little
Red
Riding
Riding
Hood?
Riding Hood. Little Red Riding
Robin
Hood.
Hood.
Not
Did
Robin
I say
Hood.
Robin Hood?
You
You
said
said Robin Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood.
I was
Little
like-
Red
I was
Riding
like,
Hood.
Prince
Like,
John, no!
I've got to say this. Like,
Holy
like,
smokes.
little Robin
I was
Hood is definitely
confused why
like
you guys were so
Robin Hood's
like
definitely cut and
freaking out. I'm like,
dry.
this is obvious.
No,
I
Little
only
Red Riding
figured
Hood is
it
the most
out like
obvious
the
one.
other
No.
day.
I'll never watch Hood.
By
with
other
the
day, I
same
mean like
again.
a few years ago.
I mean, it's not hard to pick apart the Grim
Oh
Fairy
my
Tales versions
Oh,
of most
yeah.
anything. Like, they're pretty cut and dry.
Oh, there's so
It's just like the Disneyfication and
Yeah,
fairy
yeah.
taleization is
The-
that's
it's
what
like it's so crazy to me that this is just what kids were raised on.
Well, in that time,
That and I guess
like
nipple ghosts.
you came of age at like 12 to 13, so it was actually a very real thing that could
That's so
happen at
weird.
that time.
I guess they were like living till they were 30 anyway.
Okay, well, I had one more personal story. I think I can think of it, right?
Let's get back
It's
to this
not
topic.
really a cryptid, but it fits in the things that go bump in the night.
Little-
I guess title we're running with this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, right? For some reason, the basement of my grandma's house terrified me
Mhm.
to the point where it's just like I would have nightmares just every night about it.
You're
Yeah.
about to go on sleep paralysis demons.
Yeah,
Ooh,
no.
all right. Yeah. Sleep stuff. I've got a story.
Okay,
about that
yeah,
too.
well, you can
It's
talk
funny
about
that you
that.
mentioned that because I actually do experience sleep paralysis quite often.
Here,
Like
Yeah.
here.
I've had it a
yeah.
couple times.
Quite often at this house.
I'm genuinely. I think that is determined on location.
Interesting.
Because can you go sleep somewhere else and run into that same issue?
No, never, nowhere else.
My
Kyle's going to come here with his cat balls.
no, my roommate, one
Kyle's
of my
got
roommates
ghost hunting
goes
stuff
through
in
the
the car.
same thing. She's the only one in the house that gets sleep paralysis.
That's
there.
crazy.
And it's actually in the room above mine.
Wow.
And I, do you remember
I'm
when
thinking
we
back
were
to the night on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
with
yeah.
the cat balls?
Yeah.
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 I have been able to replicate that type of stuff every single night that I hear her scream.
Yeah. Because you were getting some responses and stuff.
That's
too.
crazy.
anytime there's but she can go over
What the?
to another house, sleep there. She doesn't
Oh my
ever run
gosh.
into that.
Maybe there's something vengeful.
Well, in
That's
speaking of animals, they the dogs there,
Dude, I cannot have my dog in my room.
yeah.
they
He will just stare at the same corner constantly.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
and that's the room I
That's-
have the most issues with. Like,
there's a lot of lore.
dude,
I have the most
regarding
issues with
animals.
sleep paralysis, and
it's
it's mainly okay. There's like 3 rooms in this house I like have a hard time sleeping in. Right,
Mhm.
it started to calm down in like the master bedroom, but like the basement where I
Yeah.
used to sleep in, and then my old bedroom that's like up here in like the corner.
Yeah.
I have such a hard time sleeping in them because of that.
Yeah.
But so I don't allow my dog in my room because of the whole he stares at the corner thing. He will randomly bark in the basement just nightly. I'm like, that's the room I get the most sleep paralysis experiences and often.
Dude,
if I like
that's-
take a nap out
that's
there.
weird.
And yes, I get the hallucinations. It's freaky. I hate it. It's terrible. There are times I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep because it's like, I don't want to deal with that.
Do you know when this usually happens? When you do wake up?
It's usually like I find if I wake up around like I'm a late sleeper.
Okay.
I feel like if I wake up like around like 9 or 10,
Yeah.
that's when it happens.
Hmm.
I like force myself to wake up early so to kind of like avoid it.
Oh.
This is some serious.
What
lore
kind
right
of
there.
what kind of hallucinations do you see?
It's more of like
Is it visual hallucinations?
it's visual,
Okay.
All right.
absolutely visual, and it's like the main thing I have is like I don't have like I wouldn't describe it necessarily as like a dedicated sleep paralysis demon,
Yeah.
Okay.
but like I'll open my eyes, right, and what happens is something in the room will kind of start to move and like turn into something,
Yeah.
and then right when it gets to me, that's when I finally my body's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you're
this,
awake.
This is the exact reason why I sleep on my stomach now.
Oh man,
Limit the field of view.
The worst
Wow.
one had to be, and anytime like I cannot sleep in a room with like, for example, if you look at my wall, there's
Uh-huh.
a clothes hung up, like,
Yeah.
like jackets hung up. I cannot sleep in a room where I can see like any sort
Anything
of
like on the wall.
anything hung up on the
anything
wall.
that can
Yeah.
because that's the first thing. That's anything that
that
could
starts
like
changing. Yeah.
physically like could like contort. My brain could like hallucinate and contort it into a being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like avoiding that in rooms has helped a lot. I mean, with the hallucination side, I'll still wake up and like can't move, but
Yeah.
it's freaky. It's weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've never hallucinated during sleep paralysis. That's disturbing.
There's the lore, I guess.
The lore.
The Gavin lore
Gavin lore.
of this cursed house. First, sleep paralysis demons. Now the air conditioning doesn't work.
So, to like, what degree do like this is directed to all of us?
Yeah.
What degree do each of us individually believe in? Well, I don't want to get into ghosts though.
I
Believe
feel
in,
like we
as
certain
far as,
things
like-
being out there. As far as
Yeah.
cryptids go,
As far as
I
cryptids,
genuinely do believe that there are some of them could be real.
okay,
Like the ones that could plausibly be real, like Bigfoot is a little more realistic than some of the other ones.
that is true.
Like there could not necessarily like actual Bigfoot, but
Yeah.
the way
It
I
could
see
be
it,
based in
most
fact.
urban legends come from some sort of fact somewhere.
Yeah.
There could be just like someone could have seen an ape-like creature and go, "Huh, that looked weird."
Or even
I don't think
So-
there's or the thing that Bigfoot came from probably could have been real, but it's
Yeah.
long dead because
Right.
lifespans of animals.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could have been just like a weird gorilla someone saw somewhere.
oh
just
yeah, well it could
Mm.
even be
really
just-
hairy dude.
yeah, it could even
Really
be
hairy dude.
an actual really hairy dude. I mean, I'm a biochemistry major. Let me just flash that out there. I'm not a geneticist by any means,
Nerd.
but
Ha.
as far as like cryptozoology and stuff, like those are a thing, not like respectable degrees, but I definitely think like it's possible for, say, Nessie or something to exist, but not for long. And stuff
like
like
as a mutated.
yeah, like as some sort of mutated strain. I mean, Nessie's kind of a far cry because that's a little too specifically adapted.
I mean,
Yeah.
well,
But like as far as Bigfoot goes, like there's been freak shows throughout history. I mean, they're
Yeah.
definitely terrible, but like
Terrible.
people with
Yeah.
like gigantism exist. People
yeah,
that
P.T. Barnum was not a good man.
no.
Despite what the
Oh,
greatest showman
man.
depicts.
So like I
Oh
could
my god.
Well,
I
I'm
could-
glad you brought up Nessie real quick. Sorry to interject real
Okay.
quick.
Yeah,
This is
no
a thought
problem.
I'm going to
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah, no problem.
It's interesting you brought up Nessie because, like, any sort of, like I guess, water
Yeah.
creature. Oh, there goes the podcast equipment. My cat just knocked
Yeah.
it down.
yeah, kicked
As
it off
cats
the
do.
Yeah.
As far as, I guess any sort of, like,
oh, as
lives
far as
in
like
the
in the ocean,
we haven't discovered everything that lives in the ocean.
Oh,
I
Oceans
am,
are full
I am
of weird
fully
guys.
willing to believe anything could come out of there.
Oh, yeah. Like giant squids. You know?
Definitely,
They're real.
definitely nothing
That's
that
true.
like
They found the giant squid.
needs oxygen to breathe.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, everything needs oxygen, but like has lungs to breathe. I definitely couldn't see like plesiosaurs and whatnot still being
Well,
around.
like,
but
I
I
feel
could
like-
definitely see like some sort of leviathan, giant fish.
whales are huge,
Yeah.
even on the scale of dinosaurs.
No, yeah, whales are huge.
They're,
But-
they're honestly ginormous.
Whales are very tiny when you compare the ocean
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like
Oh yeah,
relative
well,
to the
oh, yeah,
ocean.
relative
That's
to the ocean.
because there's
yeah.
got to be
True.
something bigger than whales.
because the ocean's big.
Yeah.
There must be something bigger.
Yeah,
Okay,
than
whales.
whales.
I've got a great article here. Real
Yeah.
quick
You know what's
from
bigger than the ocean? The
Your
sun.
mom.
Imagine what's living there.
You know, it's bigger than the sun. Space.
Your mom.
I'm sorry. That was,
Indiana University. Indiana University had a great article.
Yeah.
that I just pulled up. I was gonna bring that. I was like, maybe I'll mention this. I feel like it's good now that we're on this topic.
yeah.
Of 7 species that used to be cryptids.
All right.
Oh, that's cool.
So the Komodo dragon,
Yeah.
up until 1910, used to be just a cryptid. Used to be just a legend of
Those are legendary creatures.
like in
They're crazy.
like Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're
Okay.
like stories of a giant lizard. They're like, that's stupid. Why would there be that big of a lizard?
Yeah.
And then they find a Komodo dragon. They're like, holy cow, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Platypus, the platypus used to be a cryptid.
It fits.
should
It
not
fits the
exist.
morphology.
The platypus is definitely skinwalker territory.
The platypus is so weird.
It's a venomous mammal that lays eggs
Yeah.
Well, it's like
and looks like a bird.
it's just like
so
the
weird.
way it's like it was described as, right? It's like duck, otter, and beaver put together.
Yeah.
Like most like people in Europe were like, "This is weird.
Otter
There's
and-
no way that's real." Right?
Otter and beaver. Is that the
Otter,
last one?
beaver, duck.
Otter, beaver, and duck.
Okay.
With
Like-
scorpion for the back, hind legs for the
yeah,
bottoms.
so like
But
this.
for
the
the-
venom
only for the
doesn't
males.
make any sense, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
so
it-
weird.
It could make sense because around that time, that's when mammals and dinosaurs were
So
coming
that,
around with
well, the story
monotremes
behind the discovery of the platypus, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
there's a-
forms.
So
Okay.
someone like brought back a pelt from somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if it mentions where the pelt came from. But the pelt got sent to, some governor somewhere in like Europe, right? And it's like, hey, what do you make of this, right? And they
Yeah.
sent it to an Asian taxidermist, and they're like, this creature isn't real. What you made
Well,
this pelt
Definitely
from? Like,
back
you like
in that
sewed it
time,
together.
there were people like making mermaids
Yeah.
with like monkeys and halibut. It's always just a halibut.
But then, they found, a couple of years later after the pelt was like discovered and like sent back, they
Yeah.
found an actual platypus and their minds are blown. The okapi is another one.
Oh my gosh, that thing.
Yeah,
Okapi.
like this thing. There's a picture.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got the legs of a zebra.
Oh yeah,
It's like a cross between a zebra, donkey, deer, and antelope.
yeah.
This is another interesting one, actually. This kind of ties into Bigfoot.
Okay.
Way long ago, they didn't think humans didn't think gorillas were real.
Whoa. That's
Well,
weird to think about.
Dude, think about that.
Back
right?
then,
That's
we
crazy.
didn't really go into their habitat
Well,
much.
that makes sense. I mean, only the tribes.
Yeah.
the first commonly believed going back in a little bit in history, the first accepted like discovery of a gorilla made by like a non-African person, someone not living in the area, was
Yeah.
about 5 BC,
Hmm.
and by like
Oh.
a Greek person. But like it interests me, like what if Bigfoot is just another ape creature?
Just like a primate.
Yeah, another primate creature that we don't know. The giant squid.
Could be. Giant squid, yeah.
The Bondigazoo, something in New Guinea. The kangaroo used to be a cryptid.
Kangaroo.
with a moa,
Yeah, that's about it.
perchance.
But
The moa.
The moa. What's the moa?
So
Museum
the
of
moa
Art.
were
Oh.
giant birds,
Art
much
definitely
like
is a cryptid.
ostriches, except far larger.
Yeah.
But they were hunted to extinction, I think, in New Zealand.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh,
moa.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's a big bird.
I mean they're
Yeah.
not necessarily a cryptid,
I just found a
but
website, an
they
article called "The
are-
Rise and Fall of the Moa."
yeah, they're definitely like one of the cooler.
Well, it's like how
Birds.
Australia used to have giant monitor lizards.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like could totally take
Mm.
down a person.
and now the only
Australia
giant monitor out there is the
in
Komodo. But
Tasmania used to have the thylacine.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's one cryptid that I wish was real,
Real.
as in like it was brought back,
Birds aren't real.
I just hope that there's still a thylacine out there somewhere.
I guess that's another interesting thing to think about is how many cryptids could be just extinct creatures that
Yeah.
been wiped
well,
off. the
yeah.
think
face
about it
of
this way: dinosaur bones were widely accepted as dragon remains
Yeah.
for a long time.
Oh.
And also, they were widely denied by Christian faiths as well
Yeah.
as a seed planted by the devil to convince Christians that
That's
God
crazy.
isn't the
See,
only
that's a
creator of
crazy
worlds
thing
and
to think
life.
about.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
The
Dinosaur bones. So back in it wasn't
Story
even that
ties into
far
the birds
along,
aren't
but
real belief.
yeah, well, because birds are Anyways, it was widely accepted by a lot of Christian faiths that
That's
dinosaurs were falsifications made by the devil to convince Christians that God is not the only creator.
yeah. Because
Huh.
it was
Because
a rejection of the theory of evolution.
because they were all against evolution at the time,
Yeah.
and it was believed that God made the world in 7 days, and they
Yeah.
took that literally, that it was 7 days, and there was a certain range of how old the Earth
They're
was
like,
that
no way
the bones
dinosaurs could have
disproved.
been made in
Yeah.
7 days.
How were there
Uh,
dinosaurs in
I
7
mean,
days?
how
It
did they
doesn't
know
say
what
it.
7
think
days
they're-
was?
yeah.
They didn't
Yeah,
have
exactly.
that calculation back
What
then.
kind of calendar were they using?
See,
Exactly. I mean, the cat even said no too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
The
that's
category-
exactly
literally
what it said.
related
Well,
to the
And
dinosaurs.
I don't know what you believe, dear
Direct
listener,
descendants.
about the dinosaurs, about
Okay, well,
Christianity and creation, but I gotta say, dinosaurs, cool.
Dinosaurs.
Cooler.
Cool.
Dinosaurs
Chef's
are cool.
kiss. Dinosaurs.
See, I just real quick, I want to pitch in. The thing that's weird is like, so many people don't believe in cryptids, but like if spirits have a possibility of being real, then
What's to
Yeah.
stop like a random creature from being?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
see-
evolution is the thing that happens.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, evolution, mutation, anything is possible. It's just probability.
We're not talking about, I don't think, dragons are going to just.
No.
I don't think I'm going to see a lizard fly off.
I'm gonna.
No,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
bring dragons back.
But
Here's
doesn't
the-
the Bible talk about a
Yeah.
unicorn?
So
Yeah.
okay.
Hilariously
Historically,
not.
So
it means
biblical cryptids,
something
I'm actually your guy here. So unicorns.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're
I'm not that guy. Yeah, I'm
There's
not
another
the
guy
guy
out
for
there,
sure.
just-
There's
We got
definitely
another
there's
guy.
definitely a guy better.
The man
in
upstairs.
this room, I'm definitely your guy. Fun thing about the Bible, a lot of words are used to describe certain things. There's a few verses talking about a city becoming the den of dragons.
Oh yeah.
Right.
If you go back, that's really just referring to vicious creatures, and they were constantly thought of as, evil.
Well, I guess
But
considering that,
in that region, the dragons were most likely hyenas.
Oh, dude,
Oh.
that's
'Cause
interesting.
They eat bones.
Right. Something
and-
you would imagine to be an actual dragon.
No.
Yeah.
No, and like you've got like leviathans. Generally, that's referring
Well,
to
I
like
was-
whales
I was about to say, like,
or even crocodiles.
considering
Oh.
that,
Okay.
not too long ago, life-sized monitor, like giant monitor lizards
No, yeah.
could roam Australia.
Back
What makes-
then, everything wasn't extinct.
As I say, yeah, back then everything wasn't extinct. So how many of these, biblical creatures, the legend, could have been real?
Oh yeah, the unicorn referred to was more like an ox-like creature. It didn't have one horn, but they called them unicorns.
I mean, right?
I think that's also just the failure of translation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well, to wrap up, here's my question. Right.
yeah,
I mean, John, you had something to add.
Yes.
Go ahead and add it real quick.
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was.
Oh,
kind of wish
no.
we opened up on this.
You right?
No.
We were talking about we're talking about biblical
Yeah, like biblical
Dragons.
things.
dragons.
You had something.
Yeah.
You said you had something to add about dragons.
Mm.
It was about dragons. I mean, there's a definitely
Dragon Tales.
universal
Oh, no,
thing
no.
with dragons, but
I think it was like before that. It was because Kyle mentioned,
mentioned
like a lot of people
unicorns
believe in spirits, but
Dragonology.
like
spirits, yeah.
cryptids, like, and it's interesting is because I have like a set of get to know you questions that I ask people that are actually interesting,
Yeah.
rather than like, and so it's something like if you could give a TED talk on something, what would it be? Or like if you,
dinosaur.
there's just a bunch of stuff,
Birds
right?
aren't real.
One of them is, do you believe in ghosts? And then, do you believe in skinwalkers? Right? Because it's interesting to see the reaction, the differences in the reactions. Because when I ask people if they believe in ghosts, like, well, I don't really know, blah, blah. It's a very non-committal answer every time.
Skinwalkers are
Yeah.
like,
I ask
but
skinwalkers,
always when it's a
and it's
cryptid,
always
it's-
a very definite answer. They're like, absolutely, or like, definitely not.
well, let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
Skinwalker is believed to be, an entity that can transform into animals, right?
Yes.
How many? What if the Skinwalker myth just came from a simple dude just wearing like a pelt?
Honestly,
I feel like that'd be the most plausible thing.
it's not so much with like on those same lines. I think that because if you think about it, the origins of no, we were talking about commonalities before
Yeah.
across different things. So werewolves, vampires, wendigos,
Wendigo, Rougarou.
They're all
yeah, kind of all the same.
they're all
thing,
very similar,
right. There's
yeah.
They
But-
all are
and
rooted
they're-
in cannibalism of some
and there's
sort.
so
and
many
a
different
bestial
sorts.
nature.
Well,
man.
and it's like
I think that it comes from just like
the-
seeing
the only difference between them is just location.
location and what the religious or spiritual influence is there over.
Yeah. And like specifically the kind, I think it's also the flavor of violence
Mhm.
that culture has been
Flavor of
exposed to most.
violence and I think also development of the culture.
Yeah.
Oh
Because,
yeah, no, like
because I mean, there's always a weakness mentioned.
Well,
that's
okay,
true.
There's
let
always
me,
a
let me,
weakness mentioned,
you,
but-
you mentioned cult, like, I guess, violence, right?
Yeah.
Going back to the skinwalkers, right? This is
Yes.
another thing that was brought up in like the episode. Was it was believed that during times of like, you know, different tribes going to war with each other,
Mhm.
that, you know, the shaman or the witch, you know, of like the tribe would summon, you know, a skinwalker to attack the other tribe.
Yeah.
Right. And again, like, honestly, is like, you know, I'm not, you know, flat out going, well, they're not real, right?
Yeah.
But to think about it this way, I mean, war paint is a thing. You know, I mean, there's pictures of taken from like tribes of like certain, I guess, garb they've been wearing.
Yeah.
Like, let me see if I can find the image real quick. But like, there's one where it's like, they're like the outfit the individual is wearing looked very animal like.
Right.
And I feel like that could, like, you know, tie into the legend. Hold on, Skinwalker photo. Let me see if I can find
Okay.
it.
Are you thinking in terms of like a sigil, like, hey, we're the good guys, don't attack us, or wait, what we going on with war paint?
Well,
Yeah,
just
I
like,
don't really know where you're going with that.
well, it's just like war paint, just like decorating yourself in a way that's
Y'all just hear that?
terrifying to.
Okay,
cat?
yeah, where that
Like,
could possibly
yeah.
be an origin.
Yeah.
Like the cat just screamed.
Oh yeah, he randomly just makes noise like that.
Yeah.
We should go
but-
eat it.
We should go
Huh.
eat it.
Well, we're not in. We're not on an Asian continent. I'll say.
Yeah. We don't have many weird ones over here.
Why you gotta limit me like this?
How dare we live in a place that doesn't have anything freaky?
Well, I say we do live in a place where there's a lot of freaky lore. And as far as like, there's a whole bunch of Native American myths, legends, and folktales that we don't really get much exposure to, us
Yeah.
being white boys.
Yes,
But-
this is the image. It's like, it's haunting, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, to describe the image for those listening, it's a Navajo.
What's that from?
There's just a couple, like, they pulled up, like, this one's from Reddit, right?
Yeah.
But it's like someone from the Navajo tribe dressed up,
Yeah.
and like it looks like they have their face painted, like the one on the
Yeah.
picture tonight. Their face is painted to like have fake eyes on it. It's just they look like they're wearing like a fur pelt that like
Yeah.
kind of covers a good portion of their body. It's just like, you know, maybe that's something that could have been worn into battle, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
It looks very animal like.
it's
Yeah.
definitely a common tactic throughout history to either look more animalistic, more fearsome when going to war.
I mean, it
Because
works.
intimidation, yeah, it works. Anything that can get someone to falter just for a second means life or death
Well,
in a
okay.
battle. But yeah.
Let me mention that, right? War and intimidation tactics, right? Probably one of the coolest, I guess, more modern-ish legends
Yeah.
were the undead soldiers of World War One.
All right.
Really?
So during one of the frontline battles between Germany and Russia, right?
Yeah.
Gas is a common tactic used in it.
Yeah.
So the Germans are trying to move on like a Russian fort, I believe it was, and unleashed a gas attack, right?
Yeah.
Well, this fort
Mhm.
also contained a lot of wounded, and they were trying to evacuate it, right? They weren't prepped for the gas attack, so most of them like got the brunt of it, right? Well, the thing is they knew they had to hold that fort to evacuate, you know,
Yeah.
the wounded and stuff like that, right? So one of the commanders is just like, don't back down. I know, you know, half of us can't breathe and we're being gassed out right now. Don't back down.
Yeah.
Right. So by the time like the Germans pushed, they thought it was clear, you know, because, you know, most of the time, just like if you get hit with gas, you're just down, right?
Yeah.
Well, the survivors of the gas attack, right, decided to use their final moments to launch a counterattack on the Germans, right? And it has been described as the like just an undead army because of the effects of the gas. So
Yeah.
I'll
'cause-
put you in the perspective of
they're-
a German soldier, right? You think
Right.
you've cleared out this like trench,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
gas. And all of a sudden, as you're walking toward it, men start climbing out of it, and like
Oh,
they're coughing up
Yeah, they're
blood.
coughing,
There's
they're
burns all over
wheezing.
them. They're wheezing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Most of them lost their gun in the panic,
yeah, because
right?
what's the mustard gas? It's like hydrochloric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they're pretty burned up, right? And from a couple of accounts of the incident, it looked like they were dead.
Yeah.
Like they had, a couple of them had cloths like wrapped around their mouth to
oh yeah,
try
because
to.
there were also the wounded already.
Yeah,
Oh,
Too.
yeah.
and they were able to actually like ruin the German charge because they got so disorganized. Because again, just the sight of an undead soldier, right? Like undead soldiers rushing at them was enough to throw them off, right? But zombies aren't real. We don't have zombies, right? But it became a legend amongst the soldiers, the undead army of
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
Like it got to the point where the Germans were trampling each other, trying to run away, and like kind of like took each other down, trying to just run away because they were so frightened by it.
Yeah.
But like that is such a cool, just like
Oh my gosh.
modern day like story of
Yeah.
just like it's just crazy.
Yeah. That's
The
really cool.
Aztec death whistles.
Oh yeah. I mean, I tried to 3D print one, doesn't quite work.
A death
but
whistle? Bro.
yeah. It's a whistle that sounds like a scream
Oh,
Yeah.
when you blow into
Yeah,
it.
just thousands of enemies holding death whistles. And
That was an intimidation tactic too, is they
Yeah.
would blow into
wow.
it right before attacking. It's wow.
Huh.
How many urban legends are intimidation tactics then?
It's the psyops.
I guess okay, to wrap up.
Psyops. Yeah,
We've got about 20 minutes left. of this
Spotify
one.
Wrapped.
If you were to come up with
That's the new death.
an urban legend,
Oh,
so a thing that goes bump in the night,
Right.
what would it be?
gosh.
I'll leave it open to whoever wants to go first.
I think it's got to be something like now that we're exploring new technology and we're going into like this whole thing with AI. The obvious thing would be like, oh, this AI goes bad, right? Something like that. What if, right?
Marvel's What If.
See, I'm trying to come up with something on the fly here. Let's see.
See,
Right.
Like it's something that's like a little more flavorful, a little different, right?
Flavor.
Flavor.
Make it
Flavorful.
zesty.
What about like oh, I don't know.
King Random
I'm trying to
ASMR
think
from a
of-
cat.
Something good. No, I'll keep thinking.
Taco
This
Bell's
is
menu
dumb.
prices are pretty cryptid.
That's true.
Well, it's interesting
Oh
you
my
mention
gosh.
AI because I think just like an AI monster of some sort would be
or
kind of neat.
even a physical monster that interacts
True.
with your technology.
Well, okay.
In
Even
So
if you
of the
had like
way.
some kind of like AI automaton that kind of just
Yeah.
like
going back
disappears.
to the
Oh yeah, definitely
right.
like the AI gains physical body,
right.
does
Right.
something.
Well,
Except
I
it
don't-
doesn't
I don't think
destroy
the
the world. It
physical
just
body-
disappears, and then we just don't hear
So
about
going
it.
back to kind of the smile dog thing from earlier,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube channel called Chainmail Chasers, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they tackle the idea of like a digital entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're the whole like the whole bit of the YouTube channel is they're trying to find the origins of certain like popular creepy images,
Yeah.
right? So like they do the first, it starts off slow. It's kind of a slow burn. The first one is Slender Man, right? And it's like here's where it came from. Here's the Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
Then they did, they get to the Smile Dog episode and things kind of go weird in it, right? Because they find like the image Kyle pulled up was an image
Yeah.
from the show. They find that image and they're like, whoa, right? And the whole premise of the episode is Smile Dog is is a digital, basically demon
Mm.
who whose powers were weakened over time through like image degradation and like basically like other images were of other versions of the image were photoshopped to make it weaker. But the main character of the show unleashes the demon again because she finds the original image from like a website that was made just to contain it.
Of course.
It's just
Wow.
like it's crazy. It like takes over her whole computer.
See, that's like one of the things that I really like about SCPs is the idea of mimetics,
Right.
right? Like this like
You can't spell mimetics without meme.
Yeah.
it's because that's what.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's where
I'm not gonna go.
Base of meme
Right.
comes from.
Yeah. And there's like the idea of like a disease or entity that exists solely as an idea.
Right.
So like there's like Samothrace. You guys,
I don't
anyways,
think I've heard of
there's,
that.
I literally just like watched a short about it, and the short was like okay, but like a short film, not a YouTube short. Or something like that. And it's the idea is you hear about the war in Samothrace, right? And it just like catches hold in your mind, and you just like keep thinking about it. And you start to remember you fought in that war, and you
What?
saw terrible things.
Wow.
They would take. I'm just gonna say they did terrible things, right? And it was just all covered up.
Right.
Why doesn't anyone ever talk
Why
about
does
the
no
war
one
in
remember
Samothrace?
that? Yeah.
And so you just start to rave about it and tell everyone else about it.
There
And
is
they're like,
no war in Bossing
there- exactly. There is no Samothrace. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then they start to remember, wait, I fought in the war at Samothrace, right? And so it's this idea of a mimetic disease.
That's
right.
interesting.
And there is no Samothrace. It doesn't exist inside of the. I don't think it exists inside the.
It
SCP.
kind of, for some reason, that kind of reminded me of another analog horror series on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
I think the first episode of it just something called like the boiled one phenomenon, which
The boiled
involves
one, that sounds
like
familiar.
they tied it into a very real power outage that occurred.
Uh-huh.
But basically, there's just like a broadcast hijacking of everyone watching the TV, like witnessed like their broadcast is hijacked by it was described as like it's like a red demon with like kind of like a melted face, and it's just like tall,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And it basically like gained its power based off of like how many people were like
Oh,
just like people. Anyways,
I have heard about
it's
this.
like
Yeah.
it is neat
Like-
because like the whole thing is like, yeah, the government cut the broadcast by cutting power in this location, right?
Mm.
But shortly after the broadcast happened, some people started, remembering it, right? And everyone who like witnessed it and remembered it became like paralyzed and could only communicate through Morse code through blinking. And I don't know, it's interesting.
Huh.
Like,
Oh, I learned that mimetics are a real thing too.
oh,
Like, you know how there's like some songs can be catchier than others. Some can just like get stuck
First,
in your head,
John,
right?
define for the layman mimetics.
Okay. Jeez. How do I? I'm gonna Google it so I give the right definition. It's like one of those words that I just know by its use and not by its
At the
definition.
very least, since we are short on time for this episode, we can bring that into the next one
Oh,
too, if you would like.
probably.
Sorry, did I put you on the spot?
It's like, so you know how like originally meme
Yeah.
means something that has gone viral,
Yeah.
right? Something that is like
Believe it or not, for my
spread very well.
end of year testing, I was given an essay on the origin of memes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So mimetics is the idea of like a mimetic is an idea that is spread very efficiently,
Yeah.
right? So imagine a song that is catchy to the point where it is damaging to your brain.
jeez.
Mm,
They exist.
Apple Pen.
There's also like that, but like very bad.
Yeah.
And also there's images that do the same thing where it like hijacks the way that your brains process imaging, and it just like goes on repeat inside of your mind. It exists. Probably don't look too far into it, but it's a thing. I don't know.
All right.
Google
cool.
it. That's all. We should probably stop here. I'm looking at Gavin right now. Gavin?
Anyways, I'd definitely call it a close tie between Gavin and John, though, for this episode.
Oh,
yeah,
I
we were
forgot
saying
we
you
were
were
doing
judging
that.
this one. I mean, okay, so I was reading a little bit more on the boiled one thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I forgot how kind of cool it was, like, because there was whole like, there's some like weird, like, there's some symbolism where it's like, beware the bird, you know, like in certain frames of thing, and it was heavily implied that the boiled one, which this is the image, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That the boiled one is like an ex like Japanese war criminal who had like passed and as being like cursed to be this entity and is still trying to like haunt people. Like,
And in terms of boiled, is it boiled as in boiled in water or covered in boils?
Oh.
I mean, that's up to you. It doesn't really specify
Okay.
it. It
Okay.
just looked like their skin is just horrifically, you know.
Okay, so,
So
it's
probably-
it's
it's
probably
probably-
covered in boils.
Oh. I was gonna say probably was boiled.
Probably
Like,
boiled.
Boiled
Yeah.
in water.
I mean, like he's like a Japanese war criminal that tortured. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was like
It'd be really gross. It was
some
covered
sort
in
of what.
boils.
Like,
It could also, yeah, it could
Anyways,
be scalding torture.
I mean, the
Anyways.
thing, if I were to have a modern day cryptid,
Oh,
right,
I forgot about
a
that.
thing that goes bump in the night,
Yeah.
it would probably have to be some sort of digital like one, right?
Yeah.
We live in an age of internet, right? AI is starting to become a thing and take off, right?
That's crazy. I feel like I just heard that.
You know.
Okay, no, yeah, where are you going with
Anyways,
this?
AI is taking off, right? Imagine like an AI that goes kind of, you know, haywire and like nuts. Like it's not necessarily a monster, you know, a physical monster, but like, I mean, viruses are a thing, you know, chainmail viruses are a thing. Like imagine just an AI that tries to, I guess, spread itself through just the internet.
See,
And
The age of
technically,
monsters are over.
that could totally
we're
be
onto the
like-
internet.
that
I'm
could
not
totally
convinced
be
the
a
age of
cryptid, 'cause
monsters
it
is
could
over.
happen.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm all for
It's plausible.
predatory beings.
It's probably something that could happen in the near future. I
Mhm.
mean, we've witnessed it firsthand, just certain internet viruses spreading through like wildfire throughout the internet because of how they work.
Yeah.
Right. What's to stop someone from making an AI that
The big thing is that AI are just incredibly inefficient.
yeah.
They're well known for, and there's no way that we know of to make them. Actually, let's not get into this right now.
Yeah,
It's,
well,
I could talk.
John,
about
we'll
much
talk about
time
this
is
on the
left on
tech
it?
one.
how much time's left.
I mean, if you can wrap it up in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep these to an hour and a half.
Who's keeping what? It's 3 minutes.
Anyways,
Who is talking to exactly?
I mean, me, but
Okay.
you know.
what are we talking about?
Let's hear. Do you guys have like a really quick
Well,
what cryptids would
Closing
you invent?
thoughts.
you know what I would say, going off of John's thing, Age of
Mhm.
Monsters could be over, just because of the natural environment we're going through. Organic cryptids would definitely be impossible to sustain with how habitats are going. I'd definitely go for some sort of predatory life form, though. I still think some sort of megafauna, even if it lives in the dwindling forest, would be pretty cool. But it'd have to definitely have something related to tech. So probably have to be something that escapes from a lab or whatever.
Okay.
Probably military tech, something like that. You know how like they're trying to use dinosaurs for war in Jurassic World? Something like that, probably. Some genetic abomination.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's what my cryptid would be, but now that we're out of time, I can't really get into detail.
Hemalurgical constructs.
Not like that, John.
Hemogoblins.
I know. It's just what I thought.
White blood cell counts.
Anyways, Kyle, you want to get something in? You don't have to.
No,
Speak.
my cryptid is me after Taco Bell.
the great Taco Bell geyser being.
Do you think that like a disease would count? Like
You know,
they're little animals.
You could definitely go with a
did
disease.
COVID come out of
but
a Chinese lab?
Did you guys know that there's parasites that make us like cats?
Mhm.
Why do you think I have 4 of them?
I think you're infected.
Ooh, okay.
Me
well.
too, honestly.
Anyways, Landon,
What
you were
about one of
the
those
judge of this episode.
Yeah.
before us,
Right.
so-
Let's see. I'm gonna give it to Gavin.
Oh,
He came out swinging with some good
Host
stories.
That's
advantage,
true.
host advantage, host advantage.
Host advantage.
Also prepared.
Yeah,
Imagine.
Actually did homework.
actually did the homework. Yeah, but it was close.
Well, unless anyone has final closing statements, I mean, we already did them.
I love you.
This has been,
Oh,
the urban legend
I love you
episode
too.
of the Gabs with Gab. We massively derailed a little bit, but I guess the urban legend here is
do we both love each
the
other?
friends we made along the way. The urban legend is what happened to the original script for this episode.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we're not scripted. We did want it to be open forum.
Yeah.
but
this is
Oh,
a-
yeah.
This wasn't scripted.
No. I think
No, what were you reading the whole
What were
time?
you
I was reading
reading?
my lines.
Oh. We'll catch you on the next
Yeah.
one.